All right. Woohoo. Good morning and happy Thursday. I'm Elana and we are on WGSN-DB Going Solo Network Radio, TV, and podcast, #1 Internet Talk Network. I'm Elana, host of Your Health Vibes with the one, the only Elana. And today, actually, I wanted to let you know my journey is to raise your heart, body, soul vibes to the next level so you can transform your life today. And today, we have the one, the only Big Rob. Today, we will be talking about tradition, one generation to another, honoring our grandmothers with the one, the only, my dad. Don't we look like
Hi, gang. Hi, gang. No, actually, Elana looks more like her mother every day. And I made not a mistake, but it was a mistake. I was looking at some old pictures before I even get started. And I said, "Damn, my God, you look great." And she looked at me and said, "No, that's your daughter." So that's how much they look alike. So
the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and you know it wasn't the milkman.
It is. It's in the genes.
And today we're going to be honoring our beloved grandmothers, Mimi, Sylvia, and Addie.
You know, which is it's amazing. I mean, because there's so much to talk about in what tradition is. And before, I want to be transparent. You might hear a couple dogs barking in the background. That's Zoe and her guest, Boo. So
and that's
short
okay
for Belicious.
Because you know what, nothing's perfect.
No, so I just want to let you know.
It's life, right, Dad? That's what you always tell me.
It's life. It is. So the
really fast though. Do you want to kind of say just quick bit? Not only is he my dad, a great husband, a brother, a friend, they're also. Do you want to tell them what you do?
Well, Debbie and I, we've been realtors now for almost 31 years. And actually still enjoy it. You do? It types into what tradition is. And Deb and I are a team. We've always been a team. And we're kind of old school. We talk to people.
Yeah, Eddie, go Dodgers.
We talk to people all the time. We communicate. And, I keep bringing back what we're going to talk about, tradition. And traditionally, that's why we've been successful. Our business, we're pretty much 100% referral, and that is heaven in this day and age, and especially in this world. And yes, as we do get older, we are going to go out to the sunset and travel some more. We're actually on our way to Portugal this year.
Woohoo!
Yeah. And Bordeaux and all the good places.
Hi, Bertha. We love you. She says hi, Dad.
Awesome. Hi, Bertha. So that's where, thank you for giving us, letting us do a shout out. So.
All right. So I kind of want to start off with, everybody has their own tradition. It doesn't have to necessarily be from your family or, blood or friend, tradition can come. Dad.
Sorry, Mom.
Sorry. We were saying bye to Mom. On a side note, bye, Mom. We love you.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
You can come in if you want.
Again. Anyways, so I kind of want to just start off with tradition because there's so many different types of tradition. And what is tradition to you, Dad?
Tradition started back, in 1958. You see us wearing our LA Dodger paraphernalia.
Yeah, go blue.
That's it. It is baseball. It's crazy. They make billions, gazillions, but we still come back every year. But Dodgers came out to California in 1958. Actually, the opening day was April 17th, 1958.
And what is today?
Today is opening day. It's really opening night, the first time in their history, which is kind of ridiculous.
Go like big time.
Elana and her sister gets to go.
Shout out to Stephanie as well.
Stephanie, if you're listening, love you too. So what happened, and I didn't know what tradition was. I was barely.
Love you, Vicky.
Love you too. Yep. I didn't realize, what tradition was then, but it certainly started because my father had just gotten divorced from my mom and from Addie. You'll hear about the other.
So tell him Papa Lee was married to Grandma Addie. Yes, that's the first.
That's the first one, and you'll find out about the others as we continue on. So we sat in left field in the Coliseum and watched Wally Moon, and they called them moonshots because the Coliseum wasn't conducive to real baseball fields in that time frame.
If you don't mind me stopping, so
Please.
why, in this, because of, the divorce, why did your dad take, was that a tradition? Was that something, maybe can you expand on a little bit of the divorce of what happened and why he picked the Dodgers or picked this type of tradition? Because it's one of my favorite traditions now.
Right. Well, I think what happened with Dad is, let's be honest, I don't think he really knew what to do with my brother and I. And so he said, let's go to baseball. And that's what we did, because we knew, we didn't know. I didn't know what baseball was. I knew what it was, but I didn't. And, when you go and you sit in that stadium in the first game, I mean, you're hooked. You're just absolutely, positively hooked. And the tradition became, without going, there were certain laws and certain things, so we can only see my dad certain times of the week. So those were times when baseball was, and he had baseball tickets, and we would go. And Papa Lee or Leon was very, very proud to be with his boys, So
and sorry to pipe in. So my dad didn't have two boys, but he had two girls who absolutely love and adore going with my dad and being a part of baseball, even though we are girls. I know how to talk Shaq. I know what I'm talking about. Almost a little too much.
Almost too much, yes. Tonight, if you see Arizona Diamondback fans, smile and wave to them.
Yes. Yeah, I'm very nice. Always, right.
But
treat people the way you want to be treated.
Absolutely. So tradition, that's what started it at that young age, because there's so many traditions. We as we'll get into as the podcast progresses, when you talk about, Elena's grandma Addie, and then you talk about grandma Sylvia, Debbie's mom, and then you talk about Nana Meme, which was my stepmom, still is, but we don't really call her a stepmom.
No.
That there's all kinds of traditions that all of them do as they go on.
And each one of them had such different personalities. And I would like to, in a second, in our second half, we'll talk about a little bit more of the personalities and what came from that.
Yeah.
But what was your feeling because of the divorce? Did you feel like this was a thing that you had to go to, or did you enjoy and make that tradition of, how?
Hi, Dina.
Yeah, Dina.
I wanted to see my dad.
Mm-hmm.
I was too young to understand what divorce was.
Yeah.
We can get into that in the second half. I didn't really deal with it other than when I was going to get married to your mother. I went, and let's be real, for sake of transparency, I went and got help with what I needed to, felt I needed to do. And
let me stop you, because I think that's really important. I think asking for help, I think showing up mental health is such a big thing, especially nowadays. And I think that makes such a difference. So really proud. And anybody else who's struggling or going through, reach out, ask for help, because you're not alone, right?
Very true. We, your mother and I, Debbie and I, believe that wholeheartedly. And, we can smile about it now, but when I was with the therapist and dealing with stuff, and then, how about Deb? How's she doing? I said, I'm sure she's doing okay. He says, why don't you bring her in? So Deb came in, and this is when we first got married. And so a year and a half later, we finally, said, okay, I think we know what we're doing. But I think what you talk about tradition, I'll talk about that a quick second on that level. We learned
there's plenty of things to call. You could call substance abuse, mental health services.
They're all over.
They're all over, and really reach out to it, because nowadays it's really, really heightened, and it's nothing to be embarrassed about. It's nothing to feel ashamed. We all do it, and asking for help is the biggest step to help yourself.
Right. And I think, it's not really a tradition, but we almost 45 years together, we still
45. Wow.
Yeah.
That's what I say. Wow.
So we still look back to then to, I don't want to use the word fight, but when we argue, when we do, we try to, still follow. There you go.
Mom says what?
Yes. So
big C is
compromise. Zoe, you've been great.
Zoe?
Okay, thank you. Debbie, would you please?
Yeah, Dad, keep
So that's it. And, is it a tradition? Yeah. I mean, we don't have to, but we do compromise. And that's what's kept our relationship, our being as fresh as it is today. Let's face it, we're not Ken and Barbie by any means.
You aren't?
No, but we know what we both.
You both look like it.
Yeah. We're partners and this and that. So, okay, I went off on a little bit of.
Yeah, that's okay. In life, we go off on tangents, got a little side bit, but let's bring it back and reel it in. So another thing I kind of wanted to talk about is with the Dodgers. Today is a really big day because it's opening day. And normally my sister and I have not really been able to come because, other people have been able to have the tickets.
Well,
but my Fitty started off in 1981. Woo, woo, holler back. Would you like to, it started when I was born. Well, I right from the womb, popping out saying, hello, Dodgers.
So tradition, which is the theme today, let's go back to when in 1962, when my father went out to try to get tickets and he was in between home and third base and somebody tapped him on the shoulder and said, these aren't the ones, pulled us over into between home and for right at home plate. Great. They're great seats, long before the fancy seats were really put in. And this gentleman sat down and told Leon, he said, look, you have to do this. You can't sit up front. I could go into, make it 20 minutes longer, but make a longer story short, which I never always do.
Oh, you stories? Like,
all day long.
You wonder where I get it from.
He says, my dad says, hi, I'm Leon Feldman. He said, that's so nice of you. Who are you? He says, oh, I'm Walter O'Malley. Nice to meet you. So that's the seats we're still sitting in today. You talk about tradition. Here I go again. You talk about.
Mom, wait 1 second. Debbie. Mom, give a shout out. Oh, she doesn't.
All right, she'll be back. You think about it. My father's been gone for 26 years, and the memories, their traditions, do it. What Dad did with us when we first started, he made us wear white shirts and black pants, and because that's what he wore a tie to the game.
Wow.
So April 10th, 1962, when that was the opening day. But we got, what did I have? 2 hot dogs, a malt, a Coke, the whole thing.
How much was it?
Well, the whole thing, the Coke was 25 cents, and a malt was the most expensive at 35 cents. Hey, the seats were $3.50. Come on now.
Wow.
So the tradition of that, we got it all over us. So my white shirt had mustard and the French fry, the whole thing. And so Dad finally let us. But baseball's been in my DNA since as long as I can remember. And
it's brushed off to this girl over here too.
Yeah. So, I mean, every year, you talk about opening days, opening night now. I've missed 3 in all the years we've been,
wow.
going. And so, the whole family knows I get nutsy today. I just do.
Tell them what time we're leaving at. What time's the game
at,
it's
a 7:00 game. So
what time are we leaving at?
3.
Yeah.
But we have to. The traffic's terrible.
We have to.
We have to. So that's that. And after today, I'm fine. And, we're fortunate enough that we can do it. And
I want to say that I'm really grateful and blessed because, going to this is one of my favorite traditions. This is one of my favorite things to be able to talk about. And I've been going to the game for over 41 years. I'm just kidding. Well, like 40 years because I've been going since I've been a little girl. And I kind of want to tell the story of from 1981, October 11th, 1981, when I was born. There was something going on. What was going on, Dad?
Well, the Dodgers were in the playoffs and they were trying to get to the World Series. So they were in Montreal. And Rick Monday, who's one of the Dodger announcers, major Dodger announcers now, hit a home run, and they did. We were back when Lamaze was really the thing to do. We're in the hospital. We're watching the game.
Hi, Tony. I love you.
Tony, good morning. So we were watching the game, and, in Lamaze, you have to massage that's great to Tony. You have to massage the thighs, everything, make mom feel. So I was getting so excited, I massaged a little too hard. Debbie's going, Rob, what are you doing? But right after that, Elena was born, and morning Big T, or Tony Jr. So that was where it all, where it started. Come on, just for a second.
We like to give my mom a little cameo, little shout out. So look at my twin. This is who it is. We were telling the story of when you had me and Dad massaged you too hard during the game of what it is. So we just wanted to have you pop in too, because I have a beautiful mother along with my father.
And we talk about traditions. I could go on for a whole nother podcast about Deb's tradition. Seeing it gets me going. She knows that she can, she knows me very well. I'm very lucky. Very, very lucky, very fortunate to have this woman in my life.
We're both very lucky. Yeah. So we just we're talking about tradition and life. And what's one of your favorite traditions, Mom?
Well, I've learned a lot from my mom.
That's Sylvia, who we'll be talking about later.
Obviously, we're Jewish, and carrying on the Jewish traditions and setting up for Passover, which will be happening as soon as this podcast is over with. But I just the good values, the family values, the compromise. My mom and dad had a great relationship till my dad died, and he died when I was very young. I was 15. And so it's just learning to work with one another, and looking at your parents and to say, you have to, if you want to make your relationship work, it's the traditions that you carry on. So when Rob and I met, he did not have a lot of traditions. He had one, baseball and Christmas. Okay. And we're Jewish. All right. So Grandma Addie liked to do Christmas.
She was an artist.
She was an artist, and had a beautiful tree every year.
And dressed us up we would be little.
So that was our compromise, because it's not something I grew up with.
But we did have deli. That was the compromise.
Well, So, but anyway, it's just, respecting your partner's life, what they had, and there's certain things that we've learned to work through. And I think that's the most important thing is the traditions that you take from your home. There's things that you like. There's things that you don't like.
A tradition that you wanted to pass down to Stephanie and I that was really important to you?
I think the Jewish traditions to carrying on, it's not just the holidays, it's what's meant behind it, to remember who and what we are, where we come from, our lifestyle. To be honest, to be caring, to be helpful. I think those are the things that we pass on to you, to be good people. And what makes me really proud of both you and Steph is, so there are people in need that you both independently help out. And it makes me feel really good that you value, it's not just about you and your sister, what you have, or it's helping others, and you see somebody in need and you guys help out. And it's passing on when you have good fortune in life, and which happens from very hard work. If you have extra funds or whatever, or time, it's not always about money, but maybe it's
I like that you said that. It's not always about money, because we don't, and everybody's like, well, money. But I think it's the time that really makes a lot too. And that's what you guys have always showed. We have volunteered since I've remember volunteering for muscular dystrophy and doing dances. And my parents, what I feel very blessed is that you have always showed us other sides of life and what to do and to give back. And so I enjoy giving back and want to make that a tradition as well of everything that we have.
Yeah.
So
I think that's really important. And I think that's what, your family traditions, your things that you do at home. But I think the big thing, I always laugh. So my family tradition was to take a Sunday drive every Sunday. We would go back in the day when Disneyland was not
I know where
expensive.
She's going on this one.
And we would go to Disneyland. We got sick of Disneyland. Then we went to Knott's Berry Farm. But we took rides.
I am an amazing daughter.
And anyway, so that was a family tradition. And I said, well, we're going to take our Sunday drives. And Rob looked at me like I was crazy. To take the kids, and off we go. But, it was fair. I think the big thing about that time is the family time that we spent together. And so that's what I would say. Traditions are family time, being with your kids, having the phones not on or not looking at them.
And that's a big thing that mom is about, is not having phones on. So
yeah, when we sit, I want to have a meal. I want to talk to you. I want to look at you in the face.
And that is one thing really fast, because we're going to have to take a quick break and you guys come back because we have so much more. But what I always loved is my mom always cooked us dinner. We always were able to have really blessed that she could cook us dinner. And she's an amazing cook, FYI. She has a cooking show, PS, everybody. You got to check it out. But long story short is I always enjoyed our family dinner sitting down watching Star Trek and all those other things, because we did not have cable. We had to talk. We had to talk about our days and our life and actually be present. And I mean, I didn't get a phone until college, so I was blessed with that. So I just want to thank you guys for showing up that way, and really appreciate you.
Thank you.
So do you have anything else? Because we're going to have to get a quick break, but thank you for popping in, Mom. I appreciate it. Everybody, we're going to have to take a quick break right now, but please come back. I'm Elana, EF11CA@gmail.com. 562-235-8410, yourhealthvibes.com. And I'm your host, Elana, with Your Health Vibes with Elana. And please come back. You are listening to right now the WGSN-DB Going Solo Network Radio, TV, and podcast. We are #1 Internet Talk Net Radio. Woo! So come on back. And the second part, we're going to be talking about our grandmas, Addie, Sylvia, and Mimi. I love you guys, and thank you for joining. And just get up, shake what your mama gave ya, and we'll be right back. She gave it. She gave me it. She gave me it. Got it from my mama. I got it from my mama.
Hi, I'm John Thomas. I want to share with you a professional products and services directory we call Going Solo Directory. And you need to check this out. If you want exposure to your business or are seeking professional product or services, this directory has it all. And that membership, for the many special features, you get the benefit of a worldwide exposure with a 40-minute video interview on an international business show showcase. All this for just one low annual fee. For more information, contact GoingSoloDirectory.com.
We're back with WGSN-DB Going Solo Network Radio, TV, and podcast, #1 Internet Talk Network. Woo woo! I'm your host, Elana, with Your Health Vibes with Elana. And I am with the one, the only, Big Rob, my dad. Today we're talking about tradition, one generation to another, honoring our grandmothers with my guests, Dad. And my mom popped in today. That was special. That was really special. That was a surprise guest. We're honoring our beloved grandmothers, Mimi, Sylvia, and Addie. So we can kind of go in a little bit more about them and a little facts. So if you're now joining, we were just kind of talking about tradition and life and what it is. Well, we have a new special guest. So for a second, so she won't bark, we got Miss Zoe. So Zoe can be in it for a second, just because everybody loves dogs, right? And we also have another dog here too. So if you see her name is Boo.
Boo. All right.
So this is life. So that's why Zoe's in here with us. We were just talking about, tradition and whatnot, but I want to kind of bring in the grandmas and talking about tradition and something kind of funny about each one. And so I'm going to start off with my grandma Sylvia. Grandma Sylvia was my mom's mom. She was an amazing woman. They owned a deli back in the day, and she was very
I came in a year after they sold the darn thing. What were they thinking, right? I know.
With her, the memories and the tradition, she would always make us the best food. We'd have slumber parties, and in our slumber parties, we'd call it the chair. My sister and I would fight. We'd spend the night, and she'd kind of snuggle with us and give us this little chair, and that was like a tradition. who would get to be in Grandma's chair. And, she would come to our sporting events. We'd have things. But she was a very lovely woman, but also a little harsh too. And one of her things was
because she had to be by herself.
She was by herself. She was a very, very strong woman. But the funny thing is, she told me, Elana, if you don't marry Jewish, you're not going to be getting stuff. So, unfortunately, she has passed away and whatnot. And my boyfriend is Catholic. So sorry, Grandma. But that's besides the point. Long story short.
We love her boyfriend. I know I shouldn't stick that in, but I do.
We do. We love you, Tony, so much.
And
and he is so great. And talk about tradition and coming from two different backgrounds. He's Catholic. I'm Jewish. And he has been so amazing to show up, try everything. I mean, he got to try matzo ball soup and everything. And now he loves it and has just been so great and showing up for us, for our traditions and things. But my grandma basically said, if you don't marry Jewish, you don't get my stuff. That was Grandma Sylvia, but I love her.
But then I'm going to pipe in because so you talk about a tradition. When they used to get mad at their mother, they would call Grandma Sylvia, Grandma, I'm coming to live with you.
So that was a really neat tradition. And what she kept up and what she taught us is, and also teaching me to be a very strong woman, stand up for yourself and, fight for what is right. Then you got Grandma Addie. My love. They're all like my best friends, but she was my love. I get emotional. I'm sorry.
Well, I'll tell a story while Elana gets herself back to. So
you wonder where I get it from, Dad.
Well, it's good to be emotional.
I'm okay.
I can tell the other story.
No, let me. Okay, it's okay to be emotional. I love that woman. I was the first granddaughter. I really just had such a special bond with her. There was just something that she always saw me. She always stuck up for me, and she'd always, one of the nicknames would be like, Laners, this too shall pass. I talk to her every day. I wear her ring that she gave me, a butterfly, this necklace she gave me. I honor her and feel close to her. And she was the one, so talking about funny things, she was Jewish and always said, don't marry Jewish. And she had Christmas, and did she love Christmas. That woman.
But you got to remember, Grandma Addie was an artist. She was an artist, and she loved decorating. We didn't know any different.
No.
So.
But boy, did I love her. She told it how it is, and was just one of the most amazing women. And she lived till 90, and she basically said, my party's over and I'm done. And she passed away really peacefully in her own home. But she really wasn't necessarily about tradition, but my tradition with her was, just calling her every day, being there with her. She always had this bright peach lipstick too. Oh God. And, always try to, so whenever I see this bright peach lipstick, it always reminds me of her. And she would always say, you never know who you're going to meet. She always was dressed to the nine and just so fabulous until, and then.
And on the flip side, you talk about,
sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead, finish.
But I want to say I had a very different relationship than actually my dad did growing up by being raised, because he technically was not really raised by her.
No, by anybody.
By anybody, if you want to pipe in on that for a second.
I don't know if that's part of this podcast.
I mean, it'll be another podcast, but maybe you could kind of just.
But and we'll get to the other, two in a minute. Going back to Grandma Sylvia for a minute, she knew how to treat her Stephanie and Elana differently, because they're both different.
We are.
You think?
Oh, you think?
So, but they, I always say about Elana and Steph, talk about tradition. They love each other to death, but they could never live together.
We tried in college. That lasted for 2 days.
So, but going back, and so the segue to that is Grandma Addie knew how to treat each one with what their strengths were and what Elana had talked about. Steph is very, she started drawing in college and doing
so creative, so artsy, very
right. So Grandma Addie was able to really pull that. I think that once Elana and Steph got older, then she really, both Grandma Addie and Grandma Sylvia shined more. Grandma Sylvia was much more mothering as a grandmother
Yeah.
than Grandma Addie or Nana Meme was.
I mean,
let's
'cause I mean,
let's face it.
You were right. They traveled all the time. They did. I mean, he
They
was
did.
raised by Mamie,
Right.
one of my favorite.
Right. Oh, that's another Mamie's tradition.
Yeah.
We can talk about Mamie a quick second since you did bring her in.
Yeah.
She was like, they called her our housekeeper, but she wasn't. She was like, I had all these moms. This was like a fourth mom, but
Your fairy godmother.
You talk about tradition. I learned how to eat shrimp and grits because Grandma Addie was not a great cook. My
She
brother
made really
will
runny eggs. That
know.
was
My
a
two
tradition.
brothers will know. Runny eggs, oh gosh, and all that kind of craziness. But as you see, I'm going off a little bit of tangent as this because tradition is such a large word that where Deb brought in at the first half, the Passover stuff, the things like that, we really enjoyed it. We laughed wholeheartedly. We did stuff, that was, and we included Grandma Sylvia in everything we did over the years as she got older and couldn't do stuff,
Big tooth homeboy.
Oh my God, all kinds of stories about her when, but it goes back to helping the tradition for us to help. We are blessed.
Mm-hmm.
And it is not all about the money. It's just something that was in our DNA that we do because we believe that it's the thing to do. I know that I can go to bed at night knowing that I have done stuff, not because I wanted to be, but because we felt that, well, no, I did want to. Yeah. So, all right, enough of that. So Grandma Addie, one of my traditions with her, which I always dreaded before I would go out on a date because she was an artist. She said, let's talk about these paintings and let's talk about the brush strokes and let's talk about the color. And come on, Robbie, you can do it. And this and that. And I'm like, so, but that was her tradition. She so wanted to show that even though she might not have mothered in the way that we are familiar with, that this was her way, of doing stuff. And I really had a different relationship with her in the last 12 years of her life, helping take care of her. And
he really did. I mean,
that kind of stuff. And
then I think too, that's why I'm in what I do, because I work with seniors and cancer patients, that seeing the exercise, seeing them, get them things and that strive their last of their years really motivated me to be where I'm at today. And then I also kind of want to pop in with our other grandma, Nana Meme. So she is still alive. And how old is she, Dad?
96.
96. So she is my love too. My Nana Mimi, I still talk to her almost every day. She is amazing. And she is the one who has really always shown up for me. And there's no judgment. I could talk about anything and everything, any subject, any type of life. She is my biggest cheerleader. And what I've learned from her, she says, marry whoever makes you happy. That is her biggest thing. As long as you're happy, that's all that matters. She said, don't listen to anybody else. Talk about it. Be open. Really, share your dreams, your goals, your wants. And, still to this day. And any of these single older men out there, she's looking for a boyfriend. So, she's a hot commodity out there. Still to this day, she still has it and still striving. And what I learned from her is show up, be who you are, and not worry about what anybody else says, because you're the one who's going to be the biggest cheerleader. You're the one can show up for yourself with no judgment. And I've really learned not to put that judgment or write a story from her, because she's been so open with me.
Right. And you look at, the tradition of her. I mean, people might think it's more material, but it's not. She threw a hell of a party. Oh, yeah. I mean, they had a group, or they had New Year's stuff. When Leon turned 50, she shut down the street of Alta, and we had a marching parade, that kind of stuff. And continually their whole life was that kind of way, in a sense, when I say party, but they enjoyed life and they knew they had to work to get there. And that was their tradition to do this. And meanwhile, the tradition continued with us going to the baseball games all the time. And
she really knew how to do her Hanukkah parties. We really looked forward to seeing, because we do have such a big family. But she always made it. It wasn't just about the little kids. It was everybody felt special. Everybody was included, and that's what she always made you feel like you were the only one at the party, or you were the one who was this. She always saw so much and showed up like that. So that was a really beautiful thing with her. And still to this day, she's one of my biggest cheerleaders, and I feel so blessed and inspired by her to continue to do what I do.
Right. And we, 96 is great. I mean, it's fabulous that she's still, doing her thing.
She's still got it. So
it.
once
Right.
Again, those single men out there.
She's in a heartbeat. Love it. Tradition, again, coming back to that, is like today. I mean, we just, as I said, it's in my DNA. I've repeated that from the beginning, but because that's what the mantra was, of today.
So speaking of that, with today, a person that I really love and has been a part of it is Vin Scully. He was one of my favorites. And he has a really, really great quote that I like to read because I try to tell people to do this. So after I read it, then you'll kind of understand what it is. So Vin Scully says, "As long as you live, keep smiling because it brightens everybody's day." So I'm really big on that. And I know my dad is too. We're all going through so much in life, and it's just a little smile, that can brighten someone's day. You don't know what someone's going through. So that's one of the biggest things my dad's always said. When you're talking to someone on the phone, smile. When you're out in
you want to
public,
jump through the phone because they're having whatever
they're being a little
it is.
schmucks,
Right,
they're having a bad day, whatnot. My dad said, always just smile, and it doesn't necessarily have to be like fake, you're smiling or doing, just smile. And you know what, if you don't want to smile, give a smirk. It's not that hard. A little wink even. I think, I always smile. I think that is a really great thing. And I never toot my horn, but I think I have a great smile, and that's why I like to show because I genuinely care about you, and I'm smiling at you because it's coming genuinely from my heart.
And when you smile, you wake up in the morning. Yeah, you could be not having a great day, but if you smile, it takes away that you can put it within what you smile. Mm-hmm. And when you see people, you do smile. There's people that are not going to smile back. They just aren't.
And don't take it personally. I think what my dad has always taught is, it's something going on with them, a projection. It's not something, we think, oh, they didn't smile, they hate me, or like, they're probably having a bad day. They're not thinking and whatnot. So just, say, I just wish you a happy day,
and hopefully today you take something from one of the three grandmothers. I mean, we were blessed to have three grandmothers. We're blessed to still have one in our life.
Right.
And
honoring them. So, Dad, last time you shared some great little fun facts and things that, what do you call it?
It's what I try to follow. It's in no particular order, but we felt let's read it again because so many people said I got to have it. So again, if you just take something from anything during your day,
one thing I'm going to do. Let's challenge. Smile at one random person, not someone some random stranger, and if they don't smile, then smile at another one until you get that one smile today.
Okay. So I'm going to read these. And again, in no particular order, but they're really cool. And I'm doing this without glasses today. So it's good. It's daytime. Okay. These are important to me. And again, might not be important to you, but it's something that, I try to aspire to always. Relationships are everything. We've talked about that all morning. They really are. With the three grandmothers,
but it's also explained to you, it's not about blood because you can have family. Doesn't have to be blood. You get to choose that family as well.
And relationships are everything. I mean, look at Tony popped on for a couple of times today, and that's great. In the middle of his crazy work day. So that was much appreciated. Do the very best work you can do. No corner cutting. There's no easy route. There's no easy route to what's going on. Challenge yourself often. Do it all the time. Be available, even when sometimes it isn't always convenient.
Maybe you could pop on that a little, just more of
be available. I mean, you might not want to be available, but you do because Elana said it earlier. We have the phones, the computers, the work, the this, the that, and everybody's always, but if somebody call and you feel it in your, take the 30 seconds or
acknowledge someone.
Or somebody call you back. That's, I'll call you back tomorrow. I'll do something.
And compromising.
Compromise. Yeah, absolutely. Be responsive. Here we go. That's perfect segue. Get back to people as quickly as you can. They reached out because they need you. So enjoy what you do so much that it doesn't feel like work.
I love what I do. And so it does not feel like work to me because I get to do what I love.
So this is on the level of business or even personal. Cherish your bookkeeper and your IT person, because I'm still so old school. I'm kicking and screaming. Stephanie, if you're listening,
Stephanie's really good with all that. So that's our go-to.
And tell them how much you value them. I mean, we have a relatively new accountant and a great money person.
We love you, Michelle.
Yeah, so she ever gets on. Three more things. Have fun. We need fun in our life, because if you don't, you have to have balance. Balance is so important, and we could talk all day long about how we are, who we are, and whatever. But if you don't balance
work and
right, we're with a colleague, and he's got work. He's going to go away for a week for the first time in years. But he says, I'm taking my computer, I'm taking this, and then we said, you need to take those days and relax.
And be present. Somebody if you're going to go away, then do it.
So, this word, whether you pray or whether you don't, or whether you look to something or somebody, but pray and be grateful for every day. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Tomorrow is not promised, like what we read last time.
And that, finishes up with take time to pause. Life goes fast.
All right. Is there anything else that you want to give a shout out or say? I'm so grateful, so blessed. I get emotional again. I love you, Dad. Thank you.
I love you too. Don't worry. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. Your mother and I.
Your mother and I just being there, and my mom, and I'm just so grateful for the way that you've showed up, the way you see me, the way you listen to me, the way that you're the biggest cheerleader. And I'm so grateful to call you my dad. I feel so honored and blessed. So thank you. Sorry, guys. I just love him so much. And my mom, too. But he's truly taught me how to be. And thank you we love you.
Heather, all right.
I'm so grateful for you and the lessons that you've taught me. And
we still got plenty to go.
I know we still have plenty to go.
Mom and I just turned 70, so we got a long way to go.
So as I say, please today, give some a hug, reach out to someone, tell someone that you love them. I'm Elana. Today we're on one generation to another with my dad, Rob. You can email me at ef11ca@gmail.com. My number is 562-235-8410, yourhealthvibes.com. And, you're listening to WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network, #1 network radio and TV podcast, internet talk show network.
It will be available. Oh, look at us. Okay, there's us again.
Rob Feldman. You can reach out at info@wrobfeldman.com, 562-225-7356. If you missed today, you can see it on a bunch of other platforms. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being present. I honor you. I love you. And join me bi-weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 p.m. Pacific Time, raising your vibration. And stay cool. Go Dodgers!
Go Blue.
Woo! Go Blue. I love you. I honor you. I see you. Thank you for being here today. Bye for now.
See you. Bye-bye.